Sherwood Speaks is a joint project between the Mansfield Palace Theatre and Minor to Major. It's part of a wider project called People of Sherwood, which seeks to explore and to introduce to the public the lives of 10 people who lived or worked or had an impact on the local area to Sherwood Forest.
One of the things I really enjoy as a writer is when I get to explore real people. We learnt about these people who had a strong connection to the Sherwood Forest area, learning who they were and their contributions.
It was a challenge though to bring to life these historical figures in today's era and to think, what would they make of the world today? What would they want to say if they were here right now? I
really enjoyed learning about their stories and linking it to this modern world.
When I was researching the life of Nell Gwyn, I found her to be really down to earth, but I loved the fact that she wasn't afraid to ruffle a few feathers. During her life, she experienced the theatres being closed due to the plague, so I think she would have wanted to talk to us about that.
I'm the actress Eleanor Gwyn. Pretty, witty Nellie Gwyn. You can call me Nell. It is very strange speaking to you through this. I'm used to crowds. I'm much better with people. I was devastated to hear that your theatres are closed at the moment, so I just had to come and talk to you to tell you not to give up.
Thomas Hawksley was integral in bringing flowing water to the people of Nottingham, and in 1844 he wrote a report that connected poverty to disease. So if he was here now, the struggle for food in the pandemic would probably be his cause, and I could see him encouraging the government, as he did in 1844, to make a change, much like Marcus Rashford would today.
In 1844, I used my influence to pressure the governments into addressing the direct correlation between poverty and ill health, stemming the tide of such diseases as cholera. I even built a hospital in Nottingham for that cause. So I urge you, do more. I stopped mouths from going dry. You need to stop bellies from going empty.
I was really fascinated to learn about Ada Lovelace and the fact that she lived her life in the shadow of her father, the infamous Lord Byron, and that no one really championed her work during her lifetime. And if she was here today, she would be in awe of the technology that we have. I imagine that she'd want to get her hands on it and she'd want to champion other women in tech.
This is the era I was destined to belong to, but am fated to be a passive observer of. Finally, I, Ada Lovelace, am famed not just for being the daughter of the infamous Lord Byron, but I am celebrated as the enchantress of numbers. They even credit me with being the first person to have invented what they define as a computer program.
Major Hayman Rook was a very humble person with a thirst for knowledge, and the Major Oak was named after him. So I thought it'd be interesting to compare nature and mankind and what we leave behind.
The Major Oak. Named after me, you know. It's odd how we are remembered. Of course, you'll remember it because of that bloody upstart from Lincoln. Don't tell me you believe the myth about robbing the rich to feed the poor. And don't tell me you believe that this is his tree. It's only 1,000 years old. And in his time, it would have been tiny. I lay more claim to it than he does.
In researching the life of children's author Helen Creswell, I watched an adaptation of one of her children's books called The Secret Life of Polly Flint, which is set in Rufford Park. I felt a real affinity to that character because she's the daughter of a miner, as am I, and she uses story as a form of escapism. During this year's pandemic, I think if Helen Creswell was still alive, she would have wanted to have used her stories to help children to get through it.
I'm guessing you hear the word lost a lot at the moment. Lost learning, lost jobs, lost time with loved ones, lost lives. It can leave you feeling at a bit of a loss yourself. But you mustn't lose hope. There is so much we still have and still to discover, just like Grimston.
When I googled Joseph Whittaker, I found a lot of information about the school, but not a lot about him. And so I wondered how he'd feel about that. He was also a very gentle person, so I wondered how he'd react to the children of today compared to how children were expected to behave in his own time.
But do you know, observing those children in their natural habitat, quite remarkable. All scrambling and rushing around, calling out such strange sounds as all right, mate, yeet, and OMG. I haven't a clue what it meant, but oh my God, they swerved and shifted in their packs. Quite a territorial and at times aggressive breed.